The storm was tearing the sky apart when Ethan Hope realized this mission was no longer just research. Lightning cracked across the purple clouds of Proxima Story B. An acidic rain slammed into the metal walls of Outpost 9 like angry fists. The valley below was a living maze of twisted plants and glowing vines, bending in the wind as if the planet itself was trying to push them away. Ethan stared through the main viewport, watching the violet horizon flash again and again. And he felt it in his bones. The night was different. This tiny, fragile discovery would look harmless at first, but finding it during a violent collapse in the middle of this storm would trigger a chain of events that would rewrite Ethan's fate and shake an entire alien civilization to its core. "Sir, you need to see this," Specialist Chivers called through the comm system, his voice tense and sharp. Ethan turned. "What is it?" "Seismic readings in Sector 7 are off the charts," Chivers said. "It's not normal activity. The ground is collapsing about 2 clicks north." Ethan frowned. "Natural or something else?" "Unknown," Chivers replied. "It's huge. Like the planet just opened its mouth." Ethan didn't like unknowns, but he hated ignoring them more. "Prep the rover," he said. Chivers hesitated. "Sir, protocol says we don't go out in storms like this." "I know the protocol," Ethan snapped, already reaching for his environmental suit. "I know the storm won't wait for a committee meeting. Move." 20 minutes later, the rover bounced across the alien rock like a stubborn animal, refusing to slow down. The reinforced chassis kept them steady, but the weather was brutal. Acidic rain streaked the windshield in long, steaming trails, and the wind pushed hard against the vehicle, as if trying to turn it around. Ethan kept his eyes forward, hands tight on the controls. He was a lieutenant commander, trained for pressure, trained to make decisions when others froze, but even he could feel the weight in the air. There. Chivers pointed. Ahead, the ground had collapsed into a massive sinkhole, easily 50 meters wide. The rover's floodlights cut through the rain, and for a moment Ethan saw something shimmer deep below. It wasn't rock, it wasn't soil. It looked smooth, dark, and strange. It's like polished glass that was glowing from the inside. Ethan slowed the rover and stopped at a safe distance. "Is that a structure?"
Iris
Raised his scanner. "I don't know what it is, but it's not natural." They stepped out in full suits, tethered to the rover. The rain hissed as it hit their armor. The sinkhole's edge was unstable, but Ethan moved carefully, peering down into the broken earth. Beneath them was a chamber, partially exposed like a buried secret. Walls of dark material curved with a clean shape too perfect to be random. The surface looked like obsidian, but it pulsed faintly, as if it had a heartbeat. Chivers whispered, "This is beyond anything we've seen." Ethan nodded slowly. "And that's exactly why we're here." They descended carefully, using a portable line. Inside the chamber, the air felt colder, quieter, like the storm couldn't fully reach it. Strange symbols lined the walls, patterns that seemed to shift when Ethan tried to focus on them. His suit sensors chirped softly, confused by energy readings that didn't match any known technology. Then Ethan saw movement in the corner. Half hidden behind a broken panel was a small creature no larger than his palm. It had bright blue fur, soft but glowing slightly in the dim light. Its eyes were ice blue, intelligent, and they locked onto Ethan's like it was studying him back. The creature was shaking. A wound on its side leaked a trail of luminescent blue fluid that pooled. On the floor, like liquid starlight, Chivers inhaled sharply. "What the hell is that?" Ethan stepped closer, slowly, careful not to scare it. The creature didn't run. It couldn't. It was hurt. It tried to pull itself back, but it was weak, and Ethan felt something twist in his chest. This wasn't just an animal. There was awareness there, fear mixed with something else, like it was waiting. Before Ethan could decide what to do, the ground trembled violently. A deep groan echoed through the chamber as cracks spread. Along the walls, dust rained down. The structure was collapsing. "We need to go now," Ethan shouted. Chivers was already backing toward the rope. "Move, sir." Ethan turned to follow, stopped. The small creature looked straight at him, and something in those eyes hit Ethan like a silent plea. I didn't understand it, but he felt it. He felt a pull that wasn't logical. It was immediate. It was personal. It was wrong, maybe, but it felt more right than anything else in that moment. Without thinking, Ethan scooped the creature up and tucked it into a secured specimen pouch on his suit, close to his chest. They climbed fast. The chamber shook harder. Behind them, the walls split, and the roof began to cave in. They reached the rover just as the entire buried structure imploded into itself, sending a shock wave across the valley. The rover rocked, nearly tipping, but its stabilizers held. Inside the rover, Ethan breathed hard. The creature moved against his chest, small and warm, its heartbeat racing. Ethan pressed a gloved hand against the pouch, as if to calm it, and realized his own heart was beating just as fast. Back at Outpost 9, the science team wanted the specimen immediately. But Ethan refused. "It's injured," he said firmly. "Medical care first." He carried the creature to his quarters instead of the lab. There, he carefully cleaned the wound with sterile antiseptic, then offered it water and small pieces of protein rations. The creature ate slowly, watching him the entire time, never blinking for long, like it didn't want to miss anything. Ethan sat on the edge of his bunk, exhausted, and whispered, "What are you?" The creature curled on his pillow, blue fur, shimmering softly, and for a moment, Ethan felt something like comfort fill the room. "And why do I feel like I was meant to find you?" he added quietly. That night, Ethan drifted into sleep with the storm still pounding outside. The creature crawled closer and pressed against his neck. Ethan should have moved it, should have followed protocol. Instead, he let it stay in his. Dreams, images flashed like broken film, ornate temples, green-skinned humanoids with silver hair, great beasts with blue fur standing like living statues beside glowing pillars. He saw ceremonial fires and heard deep rumbling voices, not in words, but in emotion. Then he saw a pair of ice-blue eyes staring through the darkness like stars. When Ethan woke, the creature was awake too, watching him as if it had been waiting. Ethan swallowed, suddenly sure his life had shifted and there was no going back. 6 months passed like a fast storm. The tiny creature didn't stay tiny. Ethan named it Cobalt because of its vivid blue fur and because it felt strong, like a metal that could survive anything. Cobalt grew every week, faster than any known species should. What once fit in Ethan's palm now stood knee-high, with powerful limbs and a sharper, predatory shape. Its eyes stayed the same, maize blue, intelligent and unsettlingly aware. Ethan kept a private log, measuring Cobalt's weight and height, tracking changes. "Another 2 kilos since last week," he muttered one day, staring at the numbers. "That's not normal." Cobalt tilted its head like it understood, then pressed its body against Ethan's leg, calm and steady.
It wasn't aggressive.
It wasn't wild. It was. Bonded, the leadership tolerated it at first, because Cobalt never attacked anyone. It followed Ethan like a shadow. It even seemed protective, standing between Ethan and danger without being told. But as the weeks passed, strange energy readings started appearing around Ethan's quarters, patterns pulsing like signals, not random, not natural. One day, Captain Harrington summoned Ethan. Harrington's office smelled like stale coffee and stress. The captain's face was hard as stone when he turned his screen toward Ethan. Data graphs pulsed in complex waves. "Explain this," Harrington said. Ethan stared at the readings and shook his head. "I can't, sir, but he's not dangerous." Harrington's jaw tightened. "You've grown attached. That compromises judgment." "With respect, sir," Ethan said carefully, "there's more to Cobalt than we understand. He's intelligent, maybe even sentient." Harrington leaned back. "Earth Command wants it transferred to the research facility on Europa. The transport arrives in 3 days." Ethan felt cold spread through his chest. "No, that's a mistake." "A mistake?" Harrington snapped. "We shouldn't separate," Ethan said. "There's a connection." Harrington narrowed his eyes. "A connection? Explain." Ethan hesitated, then spoke. I've been having dreams, visions like they're being sent to me. I think they're coming from Cobalt. Harrington stared, then said flatly, You're claiming the creature is telepathic. I know how it sounds, Ethan began. But alarms suddenly blared through the base. The AI voice echoed through the command center. Unidentified vessel detected. Non-terrestrial design. Entering orbit? Approaching on intercept course? Outpost moved like a shaken hive. Ethan and Harrington rushed to the command center, where the main screen showed a sleek ship, iridescent and smooth, like liquid metal shaped into art. Nothing in human records matched it. They're hailing us, the communications officer said. Harrington straightened. On screen, the display flickered, and a humanoid figure appeared, green skin, silver hair flowing like water, pointed ears, and eyes that looked ancient. She wore ceremonial armor of golden bronze, shaped with elegance and authority.
Ow.
Her voice came through. In perfect English, clear and melodic. I am Princess Ferrara of the Vidya Collective, she said. You have something that belongs to us. Ethan's skin prickled. The dream images slammed into his mind. He realized the green-skinned people from his sleep were real. Harrington spoke carefully. We are a peaceful research expedition. What do you believe we possess? Guardian Cub, Ferrara replied. Taken from a sacred temple during its awakening? Ethan stepped forward. It wasn't taken. I found it injured after a collapse. I saved it. The princess studied him, and her expression shifted confusion and something close to alarm. A human raised a guardian. He has a name, Ethan said. Cobalt. Ferrara's lips tightened. Guardians bond only with Vidian royalty. That moment, the command center doors slid open, and Cobalt bounded in, now the size of a large earth dog. It moved straight to Ethan's side and then stared up at the screen, chewing a low, deep rumble that felt like a warning. Ferrara's composure cracked. By the ancestors, it is bonded to you. Ethan's voice came out rough. What does that mean? It means, Ferrara said, colder now, you must return with us to Vidya. The Guardian's growth cycle has begun. Power becomes unstable. Harrington stepped forward. Commander Hope is under my authority. Your authority means nothing in this matter, Ferrara replied sharply. This concerns the survival of my people and possibly yours. When a Guardian matures without proper bonding rights, its energy can become chaotic. Cobalt pressed against Ethan's leg, and suddenly Ethan's mind filled with images: vast temples, ceremonial circles, massive blue beasts. He understood without words. Something was coming. They were already running out of time. I'll go, Ethan said, surprising even himself. But I want assurances I will return safely once this is resolved. Ferrara's face stayed unreadable. The situation is complicated. The bond you formed should not be possible. Scholars must examine you both. Harrington looked furious, but Ethan didn't back down. Sir, if what she says is true, Cobalt could become dangerous here. I need to understand what's happening. As if to prove the point, Cobalt's body surged. For a few seconds, his shoulders broadened and his claws lengthened. The change ended quickly, but everyone saw it. You have one planetary rotation to prepare, Ferrara said. We will send transport coordinates. The transmission ended. In the heavy silence, Ethan looked down at Cobalt. Those ice-blue eyes held apology, promise. The Vidian transport descended through shimmering clouds toward a world that made Ethan forget how to breathe. Emerald forests covered the horizon. Cities rose like living crystal, tall spires connected by graceful arches catching the light of twin suns. It didn't look built, it looked grown. Welcome to Viridia, Ferrara said beside him, quieter now. Few humans have seen our home, Ethan nodded, feeling the weight of that fact. Ferrara was alien, yes, but there was something undeniable about her presence, regal and sharp, yet strangely human in emotion when she wasn't hiding it. The Temple of Guardians awaits, she continued. There we will understand your bond. At the temple platform, a delegation waited. Their armor gleamed. Their faces ranged from curious to hostile. Ferrara stepped forward. My father, she announced, "High Sovereign Talon Falera?" The sovereign was tall and imposing, silver hair marked with intricate metalwork. His eyes pinned Ethan like a blade. "So," Talon said, "this is the human who defies our sacred tradition." His gaze shifted to Cobalt. "This is the guardian cub bonded to an outsider." Cobalt stepped forward and released a low, steady rumble, not aggressive, assertive. The assembled Vidians flinched, stepping back. "Impossible," one advisor whispered. Talon's expression tightened. "Take them to the inner sanctum. Summon the Keeper of Lore." They moved through vast corridors lined with fully grown guardians, massive blue-furred beasts, 3 meters tall, standing like living statues. As Ethan passed, each guardian inclined, its head slightly toward him, as if acknowledging him. Ferrara's voice was tense. "They are recognizing you. This has never happened." In the inner sanctum, a circular chamber held a pool of luminescent liquid in its center. Symbols covered the walls. An elderly Vidian waited, skin pale with age. "I am Mentor Krell," he said. "For 60 cycles, I have studied the Guardian Bond. I have never seen what stands before me." Krell scanned Ethan and Cobalt with a device that hummed softly. His eyes widened. "Your energy pattern," Krell murmured, "is nearly identical to our royal line. Yet you are human." Ethan swallowed. "What does that mean?" Krell's voice lowered. "It means you have exposed a lie." Ferrara stiffened. "Careful, Mentor. The Guardians do not choose by blood," Krell said firmly. "They choose by resonance. Compatibility, not species. Not title." The room felt colder. Krell continued. "The royal family altered the truth for generations to keep power. They made the bond a birthright when it was never meant to belong to one family." Farah's eyes flashed, shaken. "That is heresy." "It is history," Krell replied. And now, other guardians respond to him without command. The truth cannot be contained. A deep rumble shook the chamber. Outside, chaos rose roars, shouting, heavy footsteps. "What's happening?" Ethan demanded. Krell's face turned grim, but there was satisfaction too. The awakening. "The Guardians sense the truth through your bonded one. They are questioning their chains." Ferrara's communicator chimed urgently. "Are restless," a panicked voice said. "They are not responding to commands." Ferrara turned to Ethan, and the cold mask she wore was gone for a moment. She looked afraid, but also determined. "You must help us," she said. "If they reject bonds en masse, our society will break." Ethan felt Cobalt's mind brush his, sending calm and certainty. Ethan stepped forward. "I'll help, but no more lies. Your people deserve truth." Ferrara held his gaze, and something shifted between them, not telepathy, but understanding. "Then teach me," she said quietly. "Show me how to bond without control." Night fell over Viridia. Twin moons painted the temple grounds in silver light. Ethan stood on a balcony, overlooking the Guardian enclosure. Cobalt, now enormous, moved among the other beasts with confidence, and they responded like they accepted him as something important. Mentor Krell joined Ethan. "The ancient texts speak of an outsider bond," he said. "A prophecy written before the manipulation." "A prophecy about me?" Ethan asked, skeptical. "The evidence is before us," Krell replied. "Your guardian grows faster because your bond is natural. And now the others respond to you. That changes everything." Ferrara approached in simpler attire, her silver hair gleaming. "The High Council meets in emergency session," she said. "My cousin, Lord Vex, demands your containment." "Containment?" Ethan repeated. "A polite word for imprisonment," Krell said. "Or worse." Ferrara stepped closer. "Vex wants the throne. He will use you to weaken my father." Krell nodded. "We need the sacred archives beneath the southern temple." Full prophecy is there, along with the instructions for a true bonding rite. Ferrara looked at Ethan, and her voice dropped. "A true bond would grant you status equal to royalty under ancient law. It would give you authority to change our practices. It would stop Vex." Before Ethan could answer, commotion rose below. Armored guards marched across the courtyard. Tall Vidian male led them, his armor overly decorated, his smile sharp. Lord Vex, Ferrara whispered. He's coming. Ferrara grabbed Ethan's hand. This way, through the Guardian chambers. They hurried through corridors. When they reached the enclosure, Cobalt bounded to Ethan's side, now chest high, growing even while they watched. Ferrara stared, stunned. He's still growing, she whispered. Krell's voice was grim. At this rate, full maturity will come in days, not years. They slipped into hidden tunnels behind an ancient tapestry. The passageways smelled old, like secrets. The tunnels narrowed, forcing them single file. Cobalt moved ahead, his blue fur brushing the ceiling. These tunnels were built during a time of strife, Farah explained softly, voice echoing. When Guardians first bonded with our ancestors, hours later, they reached an underground chamber lined with ancient texts. Krell retrieved a heavy tome bound in blue fur. The original prophecy, said, placing it on a stone table. As he translated, Cobalt paced, restless. Ethan felt the anxiety through their bond. Something's wrong, Ethan said, Ferrara. Checked her communicator. Her face darkened. Vex has declared us traitors. He is tracking us through Guardian energy signatures. Krell's eyes tightened. Then we must go to the Wilderness Sanctuary. The natural energy field will mask you. It is also the sacred site for true bonding. Ferrara turned to Ethan. Determination burned in her eyes. It's a dangerous journey, through untamed territory, but if we complete the true bonding right there, ancient law will protect us. Ethan nodded slowly. What does the rite involve? Ferrara hesitated, then spoke carefully, cheeks darkening slightly in color. It requires complete trust and full resonance. A bond of body, mind, and spirit, but not through force. Through choice. Ethan met her gaze. I can do that. If. You can, Ferrara's hand found his. I never expected my bondmate would be human, she admitted, but the connection is real. Cobalt gave a deep rumble that felt like approval, nudging them toward the exit, like an impatient guardian. Of destiny, they fled into the Emerald Wilds. The forests were dense, live layered with glowing fungus and bioluminescent vines. Strange calls echoed at night, and the air smelled sweet and sharp, like spice and rain mixed together. Krell guided them along ancient paths. Cobalt scouted ahead, moving like a silent blue shadow, protective and alert. On the second day, they rested beside a shimmering stream. Ferrara approached Ethan with a small pouch of iridescent powder. Guardian essence, she said. It helps attune bondmates. She traced symbols on Ethan's forehead and chest with gentle fingers. The powder tingled like static, and Ethan felt warmth spread through him. Ferrara's touch lingered, not careless, but deliberate, like she was learning him. How is the attunement completed? Ethan asked softly. Ferrara's lips curved slightly. Through progressive connection, she said. Through honesty. Through learning each other without masks. Nearby, Krell cleared his throat, his face serious. There is a warning in the prophecy, he said. Ethan's stomach tightened. What warning? Krell looked toward Cobalt. The Guardian now stood as tall as a horse, muscles thick beneath blue fur. Dowdy. If the outsider bond is not completed before the Guardian reaches full maturity, the power becomes uncontrollable. Ethan swallowed. How long do we have? Most 3 days, Krell said grimly. In ancient times, uncontrolled Guardian surges leveled settlements.